Haste.
Hey, what's up guys? So about a week ago, I was able to complete a speedrun and become a top runner in the all artifacts category. You can check it out if you missed it, but this led me to thinking about which survivors can go the fastest. And well, today I want to review every survivor based on their movement abilities and put them on a tier list. Yes, it's another one of those tier list videos. And this is just my opinion from the hundreds of runs that I went through on my journey to get a time listed on speedrun.com, and I'm viewing them assuming that we're grabbing normal speedrun items. Once again, I am no expert, but I think I have some valuable information to share after grinding through many runs. Alright, so let's kick this tier list off with everyone's favorite OG survivor. You either love him or hate him, the Commando. Now, contrary to popular belief, I think the Commando's movement is actually goated compared to most of the other survivors. His tactical slide moves you a decent amount of distance, granted you have to be on the ground to use it. I will admit that if you use it in the air, it's complete dog shit. But if you're able to get your hands on two purities, the captain's slide is reduced to a 1 second cooldown, allowing you to almost infinitely slide across the map and basically find the teleporter within seconds. So because of that, I'm gonna put the Commando in the A tier. Next, we have the Huntress. The Huntress's blink is great for movement, but you have to use her single blink to gain a vertical movement. Her triple blink is good during fights, but doesn't let you have that vertical mobility, so if there's a cliff that you need to scale, you'll just have to sit there and cry. Because of the Huntress's blink lets you travel a far distance, it makes her movement good, but it's not great. The cooldown is very long, which is why I'm on the fence between A and B tier. I'm leaning more towards a B tier, but she could also be in the A tier, so I'm just gonna have to put her in the B tier for now. I might change my mind later though. Next, on to mul-t. He's a decent survivor when it comes to mobility. His transport mode allows him to boost forward at a 220% movement speed, but that's about all he can do. If he needs to go up, you're gonna need to find him an elevator because this chunk of metal ain't going up. In the early stages of your run, if you aren't able to get enough mobility items, then his transport mode will only boost you slightly faster than his piddly sprint. Because of mul-t's lack of mobility in the vertical department, I'm gonna have to put him in the C tier category. Next, we have the Engineer. He has no movement skills, and just look how heavy those thrusters have to be. My dude is pulling at least 200 pounds in weight with him. He's addicted to mushrooms, but unlike other characters that get boosted off of mushrooms, the Engineer sadly does the opposite. The Engineer is more of a sit down and set up a campsite type of survivor. And because he has no additional abilities to make him move faster, I'm sadly gonna have to place my bungus boy in the D tier. Ah, the good old loader. Is there anything that needs to be said? It's like playing as Spider-Man, slinging your way around the map. Loader is definitely S tier without any items, and if you're able to get your hands on a couple of backup magazines, it makes traveling around the map that much more easier. We'll keep it nice and sweet, short and simple, and throw Loader on the top of her throne where she belongs. The Artificer. Now this one's a little bit tricky. Artificer has the ability to glide, which makes traveling around the maps with bad terrain easy. Wetland aspects. Her Ion Surge skill lets her blast off, giving her a lot of vertical movement, which is great. So combining this with her glide lets her get to the teleporters faster than, let's say, the chunky Engineer. The only bad thing is that if the map is flat, then this combination is no better than just sprinting. So I'm going to say that the Artificer is at least a B tier and mostly dependent on the map that you get. Our good old doggo acrid. Well, what's there to say about his movement skill? It's a decent leap that gives you a lot of momentum when you use it, and you get 2 charges. Pretty good. However, when you land, it counts as an attack, so if you're using the red whip as your main source of speed, then it'll be cancelled. If you want to get the most mobility for his skills, using the leap off of a cliff will give you the most distance in the shortest amount of time. His movement would be A tier if it weren't for the fact that the red whip gets cancelled, but for me, I think I'm going to have to put him in the C tier at best. Rex. Now, just because he looks like a plant, doesn't mean he has to move like one. Unless of course, you're talking about his disperse skill. Then yeah, he might as well be a vegetable when it comes to speed. Looking like a straight out of Plants vs. Zombie mashup, his movement skills take a little bit of practice, but basically, it'll force you to whip a 180, jump, and press his skills to move a distance that might take you the same amount of time if you were to just run. With items, it gets better, but without them, Rex kinda just moves like a potato with legs. So for me, he's gonna have to go in the D tier. Next, we have the mercenary, the only other survivor that's almost on par with the loader. The mercenary has a built-in double jump which allows him to get to vertical heights that the other survivors can only dream of getting to. Not only does he have a second jump, but his secondary skill also gives him more vertical movement. On top of all of this, his mobility skill and special allow him to dash in any direction with a good amount of distance. Think the Huntress's triple blink, but on a shorter cooldown. With all of these tools in the mercenary's bag, he's close to the loader and will be standing second next to her in the S tier. Lastly, we have the captain. He's been through years of hardship and through it all, lost his arm. He went to Wakanda, got a robot blaster arm implanted, and came back to fight in the Risk of Rain 2 universe. Now tell me, how is this man who went through all of that supposed to care about speed? With no movement skills, the captain's primary source of movement is his ship that we aren't allowed to use, only after beating Mithrix. Kinda selfish if you ask me. How sick would that be if we could summon that ship? The only time I want to see the captain in a speedrun is between stages in the bazaar. You get a free defensive microbots and you don't have to worry about running around with him. So that the engineer won't be lonely, I'm gonna put the captain with him in the D tier. Here's my tier list for speedrunning survivors based off their movement. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, video's over. Now let me talk to all the people who aren't subscribed. The Zoomers in the chat. The rebels that keep that subscribe button in red. I get it, I'm just a boomer on YouTube. But hey, press that button. One time for the one times, you know? Make this boomer happy and turn that button gray. Alright, I'm done. I'll see you guys in the next one.